All right, so today we're going to be diving into Man and Superman by George Bernard Shaw.
Oh, excellent choice.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating play.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've got excerpts here from the preface and act. So we're going to try and unpack some of the ideas that Shaw's grappling with.
Sounds good.
I mean, it's more than just a story, right? He's really using it as a platform to kind of dissect society and morality and men and women and
all the big stuff.
all the big stuff. Yeah.
And what's interesting is he takes this figure, Don Juan,
Right.
and he makes him not the Don Juan that we all know.
Yeah, the stereotypical.
The sort of womanizer.
Yeah.
He turns him into this philosopher who's concerned with the future of the race and evolution. And
He says in the preface, he says, in fact, he is now more Hamlet than Don Juan.
right.
And that kind of throws me. How do you see that connection? Because Hamlet's all like introspection and melancholy and.
Well, I think it's a way of sort of elevating him beyond just the sort of
Right.
the sensual realm. He's not just chasing women.
Right.
He's actually wrestling with, I don't know, existential anxieties, like Hamlet is right.
Yeah.
The meaning of life and death and all that.
Yeah. So he's taking this character that's kind of straightforward and giving him a lot more depth.
Exactly.
And then the whole idea of the sex duel. I mean, he really goes out there and says that women are the pursuers.
Yeah, he does.
You know, they're strategically trying to find the best mate for procreation.
And he backs it up by saying, you just look at Shakespeare, right? You look at literature, you look at life, and you see that's actually how it works.
Well, and this is like the early 1900s, so it's pretty bold.
Yeah, totally different from the sort of the prevailing notion that men are the aggressors, right?
Yeah.
He flips the script completely.
Yeah. Well, he says, the woman's need of him to enable her to carry on nature's most urgent work does not prevail against him until his resistance gathers her energy to a climax.
Wow.
I mean, that's quite a statement.
Yeah, that's quite a statement.
So how does all this play out in Act I? I mean, we meet these characters and...
Well, we've got Roebuck Ramsden, who's the staunch traditionalist.
Right.
And we've got John Tanner, who's our modern Don Juan, right?
Yeah.
The self-proclaimed member of the idle rich class.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ann Whitefield, who's stuck in the middle.
Right, because her father's will makes them both her guardians.
Exactly. So you've got this recipe for conflict, right?
Yeah.
Especially because, Shaw describes Tanner as a sensitive, susceptible, exaggerative, earnest man, a megalomaniac who would be lost without a sense of humor.
Yeah, and then he throws in the book that Tanner wrote, The Revolutionist's Handbook and Pocket Companion.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't help.
I mean, Ramsden's just horrified by that, right?
Oh, yeah, he's appalled by it.
But then there's this the scandal with Violet Robinson, and they both kind of react in the same way, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. They decide to cover it up.
Right.
And they sort of urge her to marry the man.
Right.
So it's like even the rebels, are kind of beholden to to the conventions of society.
Makes you wonder if they're really rebels or just...
Posers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we meet the chauffeur, Henry Stroker.
Oh, yeah.
Who's got this...
He's got the working class perspective, socialist leanings,
Yeah.
totally different from Tanner and Octavius.
And he's the one that lets Tanner know that Anne's in love with him.
Yeah, drops that bomb.
And Tanner's like, what?
Total shock. Maybe a little bit of terror.
Yeah, because now their whole relationship's going to be different.
Oh, yeah. This sets it up, this push and pull for the rest of the play.
Then, bam, we're in the Sierra Nevada mountains in Spain.
Totally different world, right?
Yeah, bandits and philosophical robbers.
Oh. Yeah, it's like Shaw's saying, okay, we're outside of society now.
Yeah.
Different rules apply.
So we meet Mendoza, who's the president of the League of the Sierra.
And he's got some surprisingly modern views.
Like on wealth redistribution and things like that.
Yeah, he's got Tanner, thinking a little bit.
And Tanner's actually pretty comfortable in this setting, which is interesting, right?
It is. It's like he's more at home with the bandits than he is in the drawing room.
And then just when you think it can't get any crazier, we find out that this bandit leader...
Is someone we've already met?
Yeah, it's like Shaw's playing with our expectations.
Yeah, reality and absurdity all mixed up together.
And everyone else is just like, what is going on? Violet's mortified. Ramsden's indignant.
It's like a social experiment gone wrong.
And then the Spanish soldiers show up.
Oh, yeah, adding another layer of chaos.
But even then, Shaw finds a way to make us laugh, right? The brigands are trying to maintain this air of respectability while they're facing capture.
Yeah, it's hilarious and kind of sad at the same time.
And then Tanner's the one who saves the day using his wit and his knowledge of the law.
Not exactly what you expect from the idle rich, huh?
Right. It shows how complex his character really is.
Yeah, he might rail against society, but he's also not above using his privilege.
This whole sequence in the mountains is just brilliant.
It is. It's like a microcosm of the whole play.
Yeah, social satire, philosophical debates, unexpected twists.
Keeps you on your toes.
And then we're whisked back to Granada, back to the world of the wealthy.
But things have definitely shifted, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. The characters have been through a lot.
The events in the mountains have changed them.
And then we have the arrival of Hector Malone, this young American gentleman.
Oh, yeah, he's a breath of fresh air.
He's so idealistic, so different from the cynicism of the other character.
And he's immediately drawn to Violet.
Which makes things even more complicated for her.
Oh, yeah, she's trying to maintain this facade of respectability.
But Shaw is showing us that the sex duel is still in play.
Yeah, she's attracted to his energy, but she's also aware of the social constraints.
And then there's the conflict between Hector and his father.
Another generational clash.
Yeah, traditional values versus modern aspirations.
It echoes Tanner's own rebellion in a way.
But with a youthful kind of energy.
Yeah, a romantic fervor.
And through it all, we see Anne watching everything.
She was like a chess master, planning her next move.
She's not just a passive character, she's in control.
Yeah, Shaw gives us glimpses of her intelligence, her strategic mind.
And that brings us to the most fascinating part of the play, Anne's pursuit of John Tanner.
Oh yeah, this is where Shaw really turns the tables.
It's not the traditional courtship at all.
Not even close.
Anne's the one who's calling the shots.
She's using her charm, her wit, her vulnerability.
She's determined to get what she wants.
And Tanner, for all his intelligence, is completely thrown off guard.
Yeah, he's attracted to her, but he's also terrified of losing his freedom.
It's this constant dance between them.
Yeah, attraction, resistance, witty banter.
Shaw's really capturing the complexities of human desire.
It's brilliant.
It really is.
It's almost like watching someone set a trap.
Right.
And poor Octavius has no idea.
No, he's completely clueless.
He's so smitten with Anne.
Yeah, he's got this idealized image of her.
Yeah, the perfect traditional woman.
The embodiment of femininity.
And Shaw's kind of poking fun at that, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's showing how these romantic conventions can blind us.
Yeah, we get so caught up in appearances.
Exactly.
But there's something about Octavius that makes you feel sorry for him.
Oh, yeah. He's not a bad guy.
No.
He's just, I don't know, naive.
Yeah.
And then Tanner has to come along and break the news to him.
Oh, that's a rough scene.
Yeah, it's a punch to the gut.
Yeah, he's forced to see the truth.
And the truth hurts.
But it's a turning point for Tanner, too, right?
Yeah, up until this point, he's been resisting Anne.
Right.
But now he sees how she really feels.
He sees her vulnerability.
Yeah, and maybe for the first time, he actually sees her.
Not just this, like, force of nature.
Right, not just this threat to his freedom.
It's like all his intellectual defenses crumble.
He can't argue his way out of this one.
And that's where that whole idea of the life force comes in, right?
Exactly. It's this primal energy.
That drives us toward connection.
Procreation, the future of the race.
And Anne embodies that force.
Oh, yeah. She's not going to let anything stop her.
And in the end, Tanner gives in.
He surrenders.
He embraces his destiny.
Which is kind of a radical idea, right?
Yeah, it's like Shaw is saying, forget about those old conventions.
Embrace change, even if it's scary.
Even if it means losing control.
That's how we move forward.
So, I mean, Man and Superman, it's a wild ride.
It is. It's got everything, yeah.
Social commentary, philosophy, humor.
And it makes you think.
Long after you've finished reading it.
You're still wrestling with those ideas.
And that's what's so great about these deep dives, right?
Yeah, it's not just about summarizing the plot.
It's about digging deeper.
Finding those hidden layers.
And making connections to our own lives.
Exactly.
So for you listening, I hope this is sparking some of those connections.
I hope so.
You know, Shaw believed that progress comes from embracing change.
From challenging those outdated ideas.
So what are those ideas for you?
What are the things that are holding us back?
That's something to think about.
Yeah, keep those questions in mind.
As you keep exploring Shaw's work.
Because there's always more to discover.
Yeah, it makes you realize that sometimes you have to let go.
Yeah, to really move forward.
And one thing I love about Shaw is how he uses humor to talk about these big ideas.
Oh, he's so witty.
It's not just silly jokes. It's like He's pointing out the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, he's a master of satire.
Like the way he makes fun of the upper class or those rigid moral
And
codes.
some people are so obsessed with appearances.
Even when they're having these serious debates, there's always this little wink to the audience.
Like, don't take it all so seriously.
It's what makes it so fun to read.
Yeah, you can laugh and think at the same time.
You walk away feeling energized, but also kind of challenged,
Yeah, like he's shaking things up a bit.
which is a good thing.
It means he's done his job.
So I guess the takeaway for our listeners is,
What are those outdated ideas you come across?
yeah, the things that are holding us back.
What would it look like to challenge them?
To embrace change, even if it's uncomfortable.
Shaw believed in the power of ideas,
Yeah, to make a difference in the world.
and he wants us to be part of that conversation.
To keep pushing for progress.
Keep asking those tough questions.
Well, it's been great diving into Man and Superman with you.
Yeah, I always enjoy these conversations.
And for everyone listening, I hope this has inspired you to
Explore more of Shaw's work.
keep the conversation going.
Yeah, and keep challenging those old ways of thinking.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.